And hello there, it's Ananta, a pupil of class 7 residing in Nahara, and today I'm back with a new accounts topic also known as cash flow. So, before we start, make sure to like, share and subscribe if you find the information that I'll give you today informative. So, now before we start, just to let you know why do we make cash flow statements. So, it's basically to record our cash inflows. Inflows means the coming in of cash, and our cash outflows, which is basically just the opposite of cash inflow. So there are two methods of preparing a cash flow statement, namely the direct method and the indirect method. So we are going to discuss the indirect method today, which consists of 5 parts. First one is PBT, also known as profit before taxation. Profit before tax. Then comes NOA, which is the short form for non-operating activities. Then comes the other topic, OA, which is the short form for operating activities. Then comes IA, which is the fourth form of the cash flow statement and the short form for investing activities. And then at last there comes FA, which is the short form for financing activities. So now before I start discussing these topics, I'd like to let you know the PBT we make a working note in that. Then in the NOA we deal with stuff like depreciation and appreciation and all the profit and losses. Then in OA we deal with all our current liabilities and current assets. And then in IA we relate, that is, purchases and sales. Any purchase or sales will be recorded in IA. And then at last FA, it contains our shareholder recurring things like debentures, equity shares, and the rest of those. So, and now before we start, so it has adjustments also in it, but we are not going to do that today. But don't worry, that topic will surely be covered in the next part of our cash flow statement. So now let's start doing PBT, and here we'll now cover PBT. Now, as I before only told you that PBT, we do it in a working note. So let's make one right over here. Working note. So, in PBT, what do we think? What could count? Okay, so PBT, it has the resource that we are given, the amount that we are given in the balance sheet. Then this is the short form for transfer to general reserve. And then comes our net profit. These are the things that will be given to us in our PBT. Then there are more things like PD, also known as proposed dividend. And then there's our at last PFT, the provision for taxation amount, and it will be given in our balance sheet, so no need to worry. Then comes NOA, As I told you, it deals with stuff related to profits and losses of our company. So, anyway, now this depi. This is the short form for depreciation. We add it in anyway. We plus it. The amount that's given to us, we plus it. Then there's our any profit. We less the amount from our total value. Then there's losses. We add it. And there's appreciation, which will be given in the balance sheet. We less it. Now we'll start with OA. As I already told you, it deals with stuff related to current liabilities and current assets. So, when there's an increase in current assets, we less the amount. And when there's a decrease in current assets, we add the amount. Now this was the part of the assets, and now to start with the liabilities. Whenever there's a increase in the liabilities, we add the amount, and whenever there's an increase in liabilities, we less the amounts. So that was our OA, all the stuffs that are to be included in OA. And now we'll start with IA. Okay, so as I told you, IA deals with stuff related to the things like fixed assets and our investments. So whenever there's a purchase of fixed assets, the amount is less because our cash is being spent. And whenever there's a sale of fixed assets, we add them out because we are gaining money. And then in FA, it deals with all the stuff related to shareholders. Like whenever there's an issue, like issue of shares. Let's take an example, it's issue of shares. So we add the amount. And whenever there's a repayment, let's take an example, repayment of dividend. So we list them out because our money is being spent. And there will be more vice versa questions like issue of debentures and the related stuff in FA. So now after we have done all the postings, we'll list the opening tax. Just right after we calculate the OA's amount, we need to list the opening tax amount. And now, let's take an example. I got the amount, let it be anything, in the FA. And now, okay, so now before I tell you what we will get the amount, I need to tell you a very, really important thing. Like, just to let you know, we less the amount of the opening tax right here. So now you might be wondering, where will the closing tax go? So don't worry, I've got your back. It'll be posted in PBT. Yes, PBT, for which we are making the working notes. We are posted in that. And now, we were here, so I want to tell you that when we get the amount, we will add the opening cash. Yes, it will be given in your balance sheet and it will come to a total of something. But before I tell you that, I want you to introduce to our new batches that we're opening in Havra for just 1 rupees. Yes, you heard me right, for just 1 rupees. But there's a condition. It has limited intake, and in a matter of 2 or 3 days, we'll be dropping our number in the description box. So don't forget to check out our offline classes. And now, as I was talking, when we get the amount after adding and listing all the amounts that I've told you, and at last we'll add the opening cash to it, and the amount now come, it should be equal to closing cash. Yes, it'll be given in your balance sheet and it should be equal, or else your sound system will run. But I assure you it won't be, because we have discussed all the topics. And now, but I've told you that we'll do the footnotes later, but let's do the footnotes, some simple ones right now. So, as you know that it has two postings, each footnote. So, now let's take an example. There's a footnote, interest paid. So, this is a footnote, right? So, there will be 2 postings to it. The first one will be in NOA. Now, tell me, this is a PL debit thing or PL credit thing? So, as it's a paid amount and it's an expense, so it will of course be the PL debit thing. So, now, all the expenses that we have, what do we do with it in the NOA? That's right. If you answered it, you're totally right. It'll go in NOA and we'll add the amount. But if you didn't, no worries. You could still rewatch the video and see all the things. So, we'll add it up in NOA and it's interest paid. I told you that all the repayments that we do will go in FA. So, and it's a payment. So, where should I post it? So, now where should I post it? So, yes, I'll list it in FA. Okay, and now there is interest received. Okay, so it's received and it's a PL credit thing. So we'll of course list it in the NOA. If you guessed it right, you're again totally correct. But if you didn't, no worries. So we'll list it in NOA. And now, interest. And I told you that interest, it's related to our investments that we do. And all the investment related stuff we do goes in IA. So it's received. So money's coming to us or going. So if you guessed it, of course it's coming. So we'll add the amount in IA. And yes, that's it. You all guys could take a screenshot so you all could remember it later too. And now, before you go, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And again, I want you to introduce to our new batches that we're opening only in Havra for just 1 rupees. And we'll write the mobile number in the description box. So till then, bye bye. Namaste.